So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the 14 essential skills that you must have as an entrepreneur if you want to be super successful. Okay, they're not 3, 4, 5, 7, they are 14. All right, and I'm going to be revealing these to you. It took me a decade to figure this out, and I hope you enjoy the video. So let's get right into it. Number one is being a visionary. Okay, and being a visionary is a skill. And this is the reason when you start off something, the first thing that you do is write down your goal, write down your vision. And goals are not just line items, I want a Ferrari, I want this, I want that, but it's really scenarios. What's the ideal scenario? You got to make this vision alive for yourself. So step number one is you got to be a visionary. And you need a vision for your own personal life, and that has to be linked to the success of your company, and you need to have a vision of your company. So step number one is always the vision. And vision is not a business model, vision is not a project, vision is literally a big picture idea of what you want to do. It may not be very clear and precise, but it can be a high level idea of what you want to do, and then that can become slowly more and more clear. Okay, so you got to be a visionary. Some of the examples are Elon Musk, Steve Jobs. All of these people talked about doing something that other people said that was not possible. And most people cannot think straight, when it comes to writing goals. They make goals which are very reasonable. They make goals which are not clear. They are vague, and they make goals, more importantly, based on where they are currently in their life. The level of skill that they have right now, the level of contact, access to contacts that they have right now, and the type of people that they know right now. So they make the vision based on their current situation. Well, your skill is going to change, the people in your life is going to change, your habits are going to change, your market is going to change, your understanding is going to change. And when all of these things change, you can really accomplish a lot. So don't make the vision based on your current skill level, make the vision really from a standpoint that anything is possible. Before iPhone came into existence, and before Steve Jobs make it very normal to have an iPhone, it was just a vision. Okay, same thing with Tesla, same thing with the SpaceX, and same thing with all the great companies. I'm sure even in your life, the things that you have accomplished, many people said that it was not possible. And when you made it possible, it was suddenly boring, okay? And people are bored of their iPhones now. Okay, so step number one is creating a vision. You gotta be a visionary, and you gotta be able to sell this vision and share this vision with a lot of people, okay? So being a visionary. Once you have defined the vision, then the next step is the strategy, okay? The strategy and positioning. So for example, my vision, I'm giving you an example. Let's say my vision is to build a company worth $1 billion, okay? That's my vision, and I want to do it. So that's my vision, and my strategy is going to be, I want to do it through mergers and acquisitions, buying businesses. That's my strategy. Or I can say I want to build it in real estate. Or I can say I want to start a software company. That's a strategy. Okay, or I want to start a cybersecurity company, or I want to start an OnlyFans account. Okay, so something like that. So that would be a strategy to fulfill your vision. Okay, and then you've got strategy and positioning go hand in hand. So once you define a strategy, you need to understand where will this be executed, and where exactly would you be positioned, what region, what industry, etc. Okay, so you got to decide on region and industry, and you got to do market analysis to do that. So step one, vision. Step number two, strategy and analysis. Strategy and positioning. Okay. Third is project formulation. Okay, once you have defined your vision, what you want, okay, you want to be famous, you want to be rich, whatever it is that you want in specific terms, then you discover a strategy or you come up with a strategy, several strategies, and you pick the one that works for you. Okay. And then from the strategy, you will create the project. Okay. And the third skill is project formulation. And you take this one big outcome that you want, for example, making $1 billion, and you break it down into small pieces. For example, how many acquisitions do I need to do to get to $1 billion? $1 billion. How many real estate deals I need to do to get to $1 billion? If it's a software company, how many sales I would need to get to $1 billion? Okay, what would be my exit strategy? When will be a threshold point where I reach to $1 billion? You know, am I taking my company public? For example, Mark Cuban, he started a company, an internet company that was streaming sports, I believe, and then he took that company public. But until that company went public, he was not a billionaire. Only when he took that company public, he became a billionaire. So, and that was a strategy. Okay, so you got to formulate the project and you got to break it down into smaller pieces of outcomes and milestones, and then within those milestones are going to be your action items. What do you got to do? What do you need? The needs of the project, the team that would be required to be there, the type of things that you need to do, basically. You know, a high level project formulation, and the high level keeps on going more and more detailed. So the third skill is project formulation. The fourth is budgeting and finance. Okay, once you have identified all the tasks, you got to do budgeting. You know, you have limited time and energy, and you got to calculate how much time is it going to take for me to execute this, and how much money is it going to take to execute this. And these are two fundamental costs involved in any project. It's going to take time and it's going to take money. Okay, and then so you gotta really write that down. What types of for every line item, how much money do you need? Okay, and to make this project a success, you know, legal entities, lawyers, team members, what is it going to take? Okay, so budgeting and finance is extremely critical. If you don't budget things, then you don't know, everything seems out of reach. You know, if it's a Ferrari that you want to buy, if you don't write that number down, and you don't write the level of income that you would need to fulfill that requirement, or if you don't write that number down and find a way to finance it through a bank and get access to an income that can pay for that financing, how you will never know how to buy a Ferrari, or a house, or a yacht, or a jet, or anything else, you know, a penthouse, anything else that you want to buy. You will never know unless you do the budgeting. Okay, so you got to write the numbers down, and most of the things you can get financing for. So even if it's a big number, if it's stretched over a period of time, the monthly payment is going to be small, and you can generate enough income, you can find enough income sources to fulfill that. So budgeting is skill number 4. Skill number 5 is risk assessment. So now you have the vision, you have the project, you have the budget, and you have the strategy and the positioning, and now you got to analyze the risk. Okay, you got to think about what can go wrong. You got to write down everything that can go wrong, financially, legally, reputation wise. Strategy doesn't work, business model doesn't work, you know, the competitors beat us, there is a change in the economy, there is a change in the market opportunity, and how are we going to deal with those situations? Employees leave, team members leave, you know, what types of backups that we need to establish. When you write down all the risks associated with any outcome that you want, so you've got your starting position and you've got your desired outcome, all the possible scenarios in between that can go wrong, if you start knocking them out one after the other, you will see suddenly, and you have measures to overcome all of this, you will see suddenly you and your dream becomes one, because you have factored in all the risks everything that can go wrong, and you've resolved it, and you have total control. So risk analysis is extremely important. Okay. Then you have got, finally, once everything is set up, now it's time to bring the money in, right? And the money will come in by 3 ways. Okay. It's sales, marketing, and negotiation. Okay. And I'm going to talk about these 3. Whenever money is exchanged, usually there is a sales, and not usually, always there is a sales and marketing process before that. So if you want to increase your income, and if you really want to get those expenses paid, you got to get good at sales and marketing. And selling is really about, and these two are different skills. So let me talk about sales. Sale is not about selling a product. Sale is about selling a future that product brings to the customer. When someone wants to buy a car, they don't sell you the car, they sell you how you're going to feel when you drive that car, how you're going to look when you drive that car, how fast the drive, how safe you're going to be with that car. When you go into the showroom, you know, some people go into specifications, but most of the people want to know the comfort, the safety, and how the car looks, and the kind of status that the car is going to bring to them. If a buyer is buying a private jet, the most important thing that they want is time. Okay, time, and also maybe networking opportunities that come with the private jet, and privacy. So you're not really selling private jet, you're selling time, access to many locations, privacy, and networking opportunity. So it's the end result of that product. That's where the sale happens. You are selling a future, a desired future. You're not selling the product. You sell them on the future, and then you convince them that this product is what's going to get you the future. And obviously you got to deliver on that promise. You can't just promise things and not deliver. Okay. So next is marketing. Marketing is one-to-many sales. Okay. You have an idea of a product, a future you want to sell, and if you sell this to masses at the same time, that's marketing. You're creating a culture, you're creating a trend, and you're creating a customer base. It's not just about having 1 customer, 2 customers, 3 customers. It's about creating a demand, a need in the whole market, or understanding the needs and demand of the market and fulfilling that, and having to communicate with the masses at the same time. That's marketing, and it's one of the most powerful things in the world today. Okay, is marketing, after nuclear weapons, obviously. Then you got, once you have sales and marketing skills, then you need a team. Okay, money is coming in, and you have too many tasks, you have a lot of operations, and now is the time to build a team, you know. And team is usually going to be decided not by you personally, it's going to be decided by the needs that the project has. You know, you don't pick a person in your team because you like the person or he's your friend. You pick the person that can fulfill the need of the project, that can take you ahead in your vision. So if you want to build a $1 billion company and it has a finance, legal, and operations function, you need to find people who have been involved in $1 billion companies, who have managed their operations, finance, and legal aspect. So you want to find people who have been where you want to be and who have fulfilled the functions for a company of the size that you want to build. Okay, so that's going to be in the team building. And obviously, if you have a good vision, if you have a big vision, you can put incentive into that vision of your team. And really, people, you know, are not driven just by doing tasks and getting a salary. You know, this is what I've realized. I used to think people work just for salaries. No, people want to be aligned with your mission. People want to, because ultimately it's their life that they're giving to you or they're lending to you. They could be doing 1,000 other things. Why would they partner up with you? Because they believe in your purpose. They believe in your vision, and they're aligned with that vision, because that vision has to take care of the entire team. It cannot just be about having your Ferrari and having your own penthouse. It has to be about all the people involved in the company. Okay, so the vision has to be all encompassing. all right? I have seen people work completely for free. You know, look at non-profit organizations, for example, planting trees or cleaning the streets and all of these things. They don't get paid anything, but because the mission and the vision is so strong and the possibility is so big, people put themselves through hell to make that happen. So vision and mission is important to build a team together, and you must bind the team together towards a common goal, which brings me to the next point, next skill, that is leadership. Okay, leadership. Once you have the team, you know, you have to know how to communicate with them. You have to know how to direct them. You know, you're not the Mr. Boss here who's going to dominate and control people. You are someone who is going to empower them. Because if you control and dominate them, you're really constricting their skills and their level of intelligence and their ability to think and perform. Okay, over control, over management can strain the relationships and can strain you know, the productivity of the team. So leadership does not mean dominance and control. Leadership, in fact, just means the opposite, that you empower. You have given them a task, and then it's your job to empower them with all the necessary steps and tools to help them fulfill that vision and make sure that they're appreciated, they're well compensated, and you know, you'll have a good relationship. So leadership is important. Leadership is once again leading a group of individuals towards a desired future that benefits all of them, including yourself. Once again, leadership is leading a group of people into a future that benefits all of them, including yourself. So leadership is not really personal, it's vision specific, it's goal specific. And is that future right for them? This is where integrity comes into place. You cannot lead people into something that's not good for them, because this group of people will turn against you. So you don't want that situation. You want to always be ethical. You got to have integrity, and if something is not right for someone, don't propose it. If you want to lead, find something that works, that's good for them, propose that. There is no shortages of ideas and futures and outcomes that are possible. So why would you not pick a vision that's good for everybody? Okay. Next is productivity. All right, productivity is a skill. How to be productive, right? How to be maximize productivity, how to organize your personal life, your professional life, how to organize tasks, how to fulfill the tasks. All of these are skills that can be learned. You know, I'll make another video where I talk about each book that can fulfill these skills for you, a book or a course or someone, and you can fulfill, you know, you can build these skills. But productivity is a skill. For this, I highly recommend Getting Things Done. There is a book called Getting Things Done. It's one of the best books on productivity. Okay. Next skill, conflict resolution. Okay. Oof. When you start collaborating with people and you have money involved and you have a lot of tasks involved and you have a deadline and you have time management and you have too many of these elements, conflict is inevitable. And what will start to happen is, if the conflicts are not in check, if the conflicts keep increasing, and the relationship becomes sour, one relationship becomes sour, second relationships become sour, third, fourth, fifth, and then you've got your personal life, relationships are sour. What will tend to happen is, the moment relationships become sour, communication is going to stop. You get it? Whenever the relationship becomes sour, you cannot communicate with that person because you don't want to look at their face. There's too much misunderstanding, there is too much baggage, there is too much strain in that relationship, and usually that ends up into flames. So, and it affects work productivity, it affects cash flow, it affects everything. Whether it's your personal conflict in your life or conflict with people in your work environment, in your company, or in your project. Okay, even if it's a non-financial project, productivity will get completely strained. So you got to make sure that you know how to sit down face to face, put all the issues up front, the other person puts all the issues up front, you agree on a common future that you want to go, that benefits both of you, you re-establish the trust, you clarify misunderstandings, you clear that space. If you weren't honest about something, clear that up. They can express something to you, and you can resolve it, make it good, and realign with the vision, and you're good to go. Okay, it's conflict resolution. Finally, we have got a couple of more. Accounting, this is my favorite one. So finance is different than accounting. Finance is something to do with the needs of the project in the future. How are we going to fulfill the needs of the project in the future? Accounting is about the money that's already coming in to the business, where to allocate that, not to allocate that, but how to count it, and how to account for all of that. So once you know how much money you're making, how much is going out in expenses, how much income you're making, then you can make decisions based on financial factors, accounting factors. So you gotta be good with numbers, and just looking at the numbers as to how the business performed and how the money was made, you know which area of your business is affected. Okay, if the revenue is affected, that means you have a problem with sales and marketing. Okay, if the expenses are too high, that means there is a mismanagement, because some of your employees are being paid and they're not performing. So what's causing that lack of performance? Okay, there is an inefficiency in performance, because if there was efficiency, the revenue to expense ratio is going to be very good. So if that's affected, you have some problem there. So just looking at the numbers, you can point out which segment of your business is affected. Okay, so accounting is extremely important. All the terms, revenue, profit, net profit, margin, all of this, fundamental terms. I highly recommend reading this book called Financial Intelligence. Okay, Financial Intelligence is a great book on this, that talks about all these technical terms. And also Rich Dad, Poor Dad, part number 2 is Cash Flow Quadrant, and part number 3 is Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Guide to Investing. So these 3 books, first 3 of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series, and Financial Intelligence. 4 of these books, and you will have so much of understanding in terms of money, that you will be able to manage your personal and business expenditures and decisions very effectively, because you understand fundamentals of accounting. Okay, so I just got a call anyway. The next is decision making. So once you understand accounting, accounting is your current position, financial position of your company, and then you understand the future that you want the company to go in, then you've got decision making. Okay, this is one of the most important skills that you can have, is how to take decisions. And your decisions will almost always deal with where to allocate time and money, so that you can fulfill a future that you want. Okay, so decision making is extremely important. One of the best frameworks that I follow for decision making is, what do I want? In this situation, what do I want? This is what I want. Okay, and then what's the fastest way I can get this? This is the fastest way I can get this. I do a little analysis and I see, okay, how much money is it going to cost? Is it worth the money? How much time is it going to cost? Is it worth the time? Boom, I take the decision and it's done. Okay, what's going to be the risk? Okay, done. What's the downside? What's the upside? You take a decision, and the longer you wait to take a decision, the more time you are spending, and time is a resource. So if you're thinking about saving money, while you're thinking about saving money, you're wasting time. And time is one of the most valuable resources. So these days I've stopped negotiating. I go, by the time I finish this $200 negotiation, I could have, I've actually lost so much time that I could have used that time to make more money. So time is one of the most valuable resources. Once you decide on something, take a decision and execute, okay? Because time is ticking and you're not going to live forever. Time is very limited. So if you have an option between saving Time versus saving money, always choose, I will save the time, I will spend the money. I will save the time, I will spend the money. Okay, I want to always save time, and it's one of the reasons why I paid so much to my mentors, is because they put in all the time and effort to understand something, and I just wrote them a check and I got all of that leverage of the time that they had put in, and I used it to get into the position I'm in right now at a young age. Okay, finally, the last skill is public speaking. Okay, you've set the machine up, you're doing well, and everything is good. Now is the time to do public speaking. Every extraordinary individual that you admire was a public figure. Let me say that one more time. Every extraordinary figure that you admire was a public figure. And at some point they were doing public speaking. Whether they were giving an interview in front of a camera, that also qualifies as a public speaking, because the public is hearing. All the actors, musicians, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, all of them speak from one to many. One of the most productive things that you can do with your entire day is public speaking. And if you are not doing public speaking, your income, I assume, is going to be not that much, unless you are in real estate or in the world of investments. Okay, and if you're in the world of real estate and investments and you're a public speaker, your income and your earning potential is exponential. But even if you are, have a small business, or you're an executive working in a company, public speaking is going to bring in so much money for you, because you are speaking from one to many. And our whole lives we have spent one-on-one. Spending time one-on-one is the most inefficient time spent, period. The most successful people, a lot of the successful people, remain in the public. Okay, you've got Elon Musk, you've got Steve Jobs. These are public figures. Some of the richest men in the world, a lot of them are public speakers. Even if they may not be big media figures, they will sit with their employees and they speak a one-to-many communication. Or you have to align with someone who is a good public speaker and you communicate through him. This is how kings and princes, they do this. But you gotta have public speaking skills, and with public speaking skills, especially when you're doing public speaking and it's being recorded and that video goes out, it has a multiplier effect. So public speaking and promoting yourself, promoting your brand, promoting your company, public speaking can be with employees, with large masses of customers, with large masses of investors, and with large masses of any group of people that you want to network with. The best position to be in any room is being the speaker. If you are going to any event, the best position you can be in is being a speaker. Whichever event you go to, the most powerful position is of the guy who is doing public speaking. Okay, so public speaking is extremely, extremely important if you want to be super, super successful. Okay, and there is no shortage of example of this. I cannot stress this enough. You got to know how to do public speaking, and if you learn marketing, sales, you will be a good public speaker, because marketing and sales have to do with psychology, and you're not just doing a public speaking to entertain people, but you're doing public speaking to move them to action. So that skill will come from understanding marketing psychology, sales, copywriting, etc. So public speaking, essential skill, and that is your video about 14 essential skills that you must have as an entrepreneur. If you love the channel and if you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. I post one video every single day and I appreciate your support. I'll talk to you soon.